Hey, this is Brother Sherman Cox. I wanted to talk a little bit about harmonica and moving to the middle stage. I'm at the intermediate stage right now. How do you move from the beginning stage to the intermediate stage? I remember when I was a beginner, a very new with the harmonica, and I read a book. Somebody had a free booklet out somewhere that said the difference, and the idea was the difference between someone who's been playing for 3 months and someone who's been playing for 3 years is the size of their repertoire. In other words, you master the fundamentals of the instrument in 3 months, and then you just start adding songs. I learned very quickly that that's not exactly the case. And in fact, if you believe that, what's probably happening is that you are stuck in the beginning phase of the instrument. And maybe you've just learned how to play single notes, and now you're just playing those single notes, and now I'm just changing the repertoire. But there's different things that you can do to make you sound more not necessarily like a beginner and to sound more like an intermediate, which is where I am, and hopefully moving on past that. One of the things that I've done, you definitely need to bend. There's some guys who never learn how to bend on the diatonic. You need to bend. You don't want to be playing a note and then jumping an octave up because the note isn't there. You want to bend. The bends gives it that harmonica sound. Without that, it's not really the harmonica sound. So you definitely need to learn how to bend. That takes longer than 3 months. And another thing that you can do is start doing double stops, and this really opened up the door for me. I really add some of the 5 hole draw in with the 4 hole draw. So when I'm doing, add in that a little of that 5 hole or more of it, depending on how much you want. What that does is that gives you that little grit. That grit is important and it's powerful, and it does something for your sound. That add a little of that 5 hole draw. It's going to give you a sound that's going to sound more powerful and more bluesy and more blues harmonica like. So you definitely need to bend, and you want to do some of that double stop or put in a little dirty up your notes. Another thing is what I just did there. You've got to add in some of your vibrato. A number of different ways of doing it. Different ways of doing it, but you need some sort of vibrato. It gives you, it really provides some life to your sound. Add some of that vibrato in there. So what do we got? We got, you put some vibrato in there, you put some double stops in there, you put some bending in there. Another thing you can do is some slides. Add some slides in there, where you're sliding into your notes. That gives you some interesting sounds. Finally, today I want to talk about the head shakers. All of that, you do some of those, and I really need to work on that. I just started doing the head shakers. A couple of ways of doing it: with your hands or with your head. It's easy for me to do it with my hands. Add some add some sounds to you that add some sounds that are going to take your harmonica playing to the intermediate phase. You move from the beginner to the intermediate phase. You definitely don't want to just be playing single notes. You definitely want to get on and start bending. Um, there's some other techniques that you can do when you're make use of the tongue blocking. When you're tongue slapping, gives you some rhythmic sound. I need to work some more on my tongue blocking. I don't do a lot of it. I do a lot of lip pursing. Tongue blocking gives you a fuller sound, a bigger sound. But tongue pursing is kind of cool as well. It's easier for me to bend, but you can bend with tongue blocking as well, as many people have done. I It's easier for me to bend with the lip pursing. At any rate, these are some of the things that you can do to move your harmonica playing from the beginner phase up to the intermediate phase. And you're going to do some bends. You're going to do some double stops or put in dirty up your notes, especially with that 5-hole draw. You're going to do some head shakers. Throw that stuff in there. What was the other one? Slides. Do those things. Then you're going to be sounding a little better. It's not going to sound like everybody else, and you're also going to you're going to sound better, and it's going to be a better thing. Now, another thing, a final thing is a principle that I think you need to follow, and that is this helped me. I don't know if it's going to help you, but it's helped me, and that is to not be so literal the the melody. I see individuals going and grabbing different melody, grabbing different harps, altering the holes. And professionals definitely, I ain't got nothing to say to a professional. They know what they doing. But for if you just simply trying to play the melody, it can be a it can be a challenge. You end up with a almost a sterile sound, not a lively sound. Stop being so literal. Take chances. That was some amazing grace and playing around. Don't be so literal with the melody. If the note ain't there, instead of worrying about why it ain't there, start playing around with other sounds and see if you can get something that sounds good in that place. So that's another thing that you can do to when you're moving from the beginning to the intermediate phase is start playing around. Stop being so literal with the melody. If the melody note ain't there, don't grab another harp. Start playing with the harp you got and see if you can make something that sounds good. This is Brother Sherman Cox. Till next time, God bless.